There are three guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Bret Hart going off on somebody. Hey, what's going on, guys? Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. Before I get into this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Bret the Hitman Hart, one of the all-time, if not the greatest all-time wrestling performer in the history of the business, is no stranger to voicing his opinion and no stranger to finding guys that have been throughout his past for him to single out. And this time he is singling out none other than WWE COO Triple H. Now, Triple H is somebody who is no stranger to Bret Hart's, wrath. If you guys have ever seen the documentary Wrestling with Shadows, you saw Bret Hart's then wife at the time going off on Triple H for his role in the Montreal Screwjob. We've seen throughout the last dozens of years multiple occasions where he's gone off on Vince McMahon, Bill Goldberg, who is also going to be in the same room with Bret Hart for the first time and forever at a big-time wrestling event that is supposed to be coming up soon. But Bret, he recently had an interview with Inside Scoops where he stated that, he wished Triple H was in the room when he knocked out Vince McMahon because he's somebody that he has very little respect for. And maybe if he was, he would not be married to Stephanie McMahon right now, which to me, it's a little, below the belt talking about the man's wife and bringing her into this when your problem is with Triple H. He also stated that Triple H is somebody that he thinks doesn't have any great matches, which I personally disagree with. I think Triple H has multiple, great matches throughout his career. His street fight against Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam, his matches against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 27 and WrestleMania 28, his match with Mick Foley at the Royal Rumble. Now, you can credit that the guys that he wrestled with were the reason why those matches were great. Those three guys that I just mentioned are in the upper echelon of wrestling performance, but nonetheless, Triple H was involved in those matches, right? And for me, anytime we see Bret go off and do these rants about these guys, it makes me sad personally because there's going to be people, especially younger people who weren't, alive or were too young to see Bret in their prime. This is going to be what he's going to be known for. And I don't want him to be known as the bitter, angry old man. I want him to be known for what he is, one of the all-time greats in the ring. I want him to be celebrated as much as he possibly can be. I want him to be treated as the national treasure that he is, because think about this, a lot of guys from his era are gone. Really him and Flair are the only two guys who are around. So for me, I want him to be celebrated as much as he possibly can because we don't have many of guys around from his time. So for him to be, carrying this burden and constantly going off on these people, it's just sad. And personally, for him, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it is healthy because, I don't think that Bill Goldberg sits around and thinks about Bret unless he's asked about it. I don't think Triple H spends any time, any type of mental space thinking about Bret Hart. And that with all the amount of times that Bret has mentioned these guys, that he carries this burden around and it's not healthy. The guy is an all-time great. I think that he should just let it go, take the time to look back at his career, and just realize that he has nothing else to prove. The guy's an all-time legend. He had a phenomenal career. He is celebrated. Many people, in the business today celebrate him as much as possible. CM Punk, FTR. These are guys who are in the upper echelon of their, respective companies that constantly give him his respect. And I wish that Bret would just let this go and just let this burden that has been, carrying on his back for all these years and just find a way to find inner peace. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think Triple H has any great matches throughout his career? And if so, what is your all-time favorite Triple H match? Let me know in the comment section. Guys, I am Kevin Zwicker.